too. So I had a video I had planned for Saturday to replace the shocks on the S10. I forgot to set up the camera when I got to the shop. Just didn't feel like getting it out of the vehicle after the truck was already up on the lift. So I ended up shooting a 6-month ownership of the Chevrolet Bolt. It's just slightly under 6 months. It's like a week under 6 months of owning the Bolt here. And about 5 months worth of driving, if you count the number of times I had to go out of town. And I'm sitting currently at 5,886 miles. In that 5,886 miles, I was averaging 3 miles per kilowatt. And that's mainly due to the winter. Like I ripped on in my last Chevrolet Bolt update, winter update, you lose quite a bit of mileage and range with just the fact that the outside temperatures are so low and you're running the heat and all that. So the next 6 months, who knows? I drive a lot with my windows down during the summer. Don't really run the AC as much until it gets above 100, and then even then I really don't like to. That was because when I started driving, I had an 89 Chevy Cheyenne. It's pretty much a predecessor to the Silverado, and it didn't have AC. It had 350 AC. 3 windows, rear window, 2 driver windows, and 50 miles an hour. Yeah. So that's what I grew up in, learning to drive in and everything. So AC I typically don't use unless I absolutely need to. So we'll see how the range is affected as the temperature swings back the other way. It's already improved quite a bit, but we still have cold flashes here and there. So like right now I have 100 miles on this charge and I'm averaging 3.3 miles per kilowatt because of the cold days that I've had. I just received notification I have 2 recalls. One's for the radio infotainment system, SDGM, and BYOM 2 Plus. The other one is loss of propulsion high voltage battery without notification. That one I know has been receiving a lot of attention on the Chevrolet Bolt Facebook page and EV Inside. Yeah, that's a big problem. They're pretty much blanket statement, blanket policy. Let's just do all the 2017s, even though it's a few selected Bolts that are having problems with their battery packs. I would feel more confident in a company being like going the extra mile and installing the software. So there's that. But I'm scheduled to take it in, and I'll probably have an update this weekend on how all that's going. And my previous video that I shot yesterday about the 6-month ownership, I discussed, since I had the 14.4.2 update, how I've gotten it to duplicate freezing the infotainment center, and that is pretty much hitting the power button and going immediately into reverse, and it will freeze with the Bolt logo up. I've been able to do that about once out of every 100 times of putting it into reverse. Beyond that, it's not really given me any problems. The car as a whole has been really good, other than the range for the winter, and I'm still pretty happy with it. Yeah, I know in the winter update I really pushed on how the range sucked, and that is true. It really changes how you have to travel and how you have those right now until like the Tesla Roadster comes out with the 600 mile range. It's kind of hard to get enough range in a electric vehicle during the winter to take it on long trips. That's just part of the many reasons why electric vehicles haven't fully taken off and taken over the market. It's because of the infrastructure and the range. Eventually it'll get there, and I do foresee that electric vehicles will dominate, but people need to learn about their cars, the difference between ICE and electric cars. Because I've read stuff on the Bolt Facebook page, and they're like, ICE engines are so inefficient, that's why you don't notice the difference between winter and summer driving. No, you don't notice the difference because heat is a byproduct, and that's where you're receiving the cabin heat from the heater core that's run off of the coolant that's running through the engine and heating up. Right? It boils down to people have their perceptions and saying that gas engines are super inefficient. They're not as efficient as some things, but as an electric vehicle, it doesn't matter how efficient it is. If you can't package the battery pack, which that's part of efficiency, into a small enough form factor, then you're either going to have super huge cars to get the type of range you need, or you're not going to get any range at all during the winter, because you're losing roughly 50% of your battery due to how cold it is. So there's that. It's definitely a life-changing decision to buy an electric vehicle. I don't really regret buying this car. Now, having 3 vehicles with insurance and all that, I could have bought a Corvette for what I'm currently paying out. And being that this channel is called Boxmonkeyracing, the Corvette would have done probably better. Either way, I got the Bolt. I love the Bolt. I'm not getting rid of the Bolt until something absolutely drastically changes, or GM comes out with a performance version of an electric vehicle. So, time to get into the gym. Y'all have a good day. Deuces.